The live stream will begin shortly. Thanks for joining us. This webinar is part of a digital missionary live series organized by Trinity Adventist International Church in Bangkok, Thailand. It is sponsored by community7.org. We are live every Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Bangkok time. Visit bangkokadventist.com for more details. Please stand by and share this video. The live stream will start shortly.
Create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within me. Create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within me. Create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within me. Create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within me. And cast me not away from thy presence, O Lord. Take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and renew a right spirit within me. And cast me not away from thy presence, O Lord. Take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and renew a right spirit within me. And renew a right spirit within me. And renew a right spirit within me.
Our weekly Digital Missionary Live webinar is sponsored by Community7.org. C7 provides sustainable online platforms and management structures to generate technical and financial resources for the evangelistic work in Thailand. We invite you to learn more about Community7 at Community7.org. Again, thanks for joining us today. The live stream will begin shortly.
Father, I have knowledge, so will you show me now how to use it wisely and find a way somehow to make the world I live in a little better place and make life with its problems a little bit easier to face. Grant me faith and courage and put purpose in my days, and show me how to serve Thee in effective ways, so my education, my knowledge, and my skill may find their true fulfillment as I learn to do Thy will. And may I ever be aware in everything I do that knowledge comes from learning and wisdom comes from You. Amen.
How to show them how to do.
Hello, hello, a pleasant good evening and good morning for everyone. Thank you for joining us here again this Tuesday. Thanks for those that are joining us on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us here. We are live every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Bangkok time. So we are here together every Tuesday, and I thank you for joining and be part of this conversation. Also, I thank those of you that are joining us on Zoom, especially Lord Elder Edward from Trinity International Church. Thank you for your support there, and all of you that normally join us every Sabbath, the pastors and different participants that have joined us on the Zoom discussion. Tonight, we have some of the pastors are on training on other Zoom call tonight. So we will be a little bit fewer of us on Zoom, but we are here to share and to try to connect today about safety and security online. And this is the third week on this topic, and this is the last part of this section, and we're going to talk about personal security, especially talking about how to protect ourselves, our mental health, and those around us from different challenges and difficulties from the internet. So today, as I open the discussion, I want us to open our Bibles and check the important message here from Proverbs 4:23 that says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And even in the New Testament as well, in Philippians 4:6-7 says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. So today, as we dive into this topic of online security, securing our mind and our heart, that God might be with us in our discussion. So there where we are, I invite you to pray and to ask God to come into wherever you are. If you are home, if you are traveling, if you're listening in your car, please ask God to come to us and give us a few minutes of a connection with Him, that we might be able to understand His Word and be able to as well understand the important message that we have to share tonight, that God might continue to guide us as we are working to share the gospel of salvation, the good news of salvation online with those around us. Thank you so much for being with us again. And tonight we are talking about online safety and security. And today specifically, we are talking about personal safety. How can you keep your mind and your household, those that love you, safe on the internet? In the past 2 weeks, we have talked about the online security. First, talking about security on the terms of how to protect our assets, how to protect the communication that we have online, our privacy. On the second week, last week, we talked deeply about how to protect ourselves from theft, from scams, and from different things online that can come and harm us and take away our security online, our safety, and oftentimes also take away our ministry and really harm what we are doing online. So safeguarding ourselves, safeguarding our ministry online have been the focus on our past 2 weeks. But today, I want to talk a little bit more about us, about you and me, how we keep our minds safe online. And I do this in dividing it into 3 areas, because the internet is very good. I mean, nobody here can argue that the internet is something bad, that is something that has bring challenges or difficulties to this world. Even more, people will say that internet has brought austerity, have brought information, have brought the opportunity to people to come out from bondage in different places for communication, to come out from poverty. You have opened the world to a whole new opportunity. Internet has become part of our lives for those of us that are lucky enough to be in a developed country or developing country in the cities or where it is accessible. But there are still millions of inhabitants in Earth that do not have access to the internet. And the great desire is for everyone to have access. So they can have access to what? To information, the ability to collect and receive and share information freely, to be able to access the same kind of education that everyone on the developed countries have, that everyone can research, everybody can learn to use the internet, can learn to read, write, and even program on the internet, or do whatever we do on the internet and be able to prosper and come out from poverty and dependency. Also, we want the internet to go around the world and share with everyone because it's a way for us to connect with help or with treatment or with opportunities. So through the internet, we can connect with physicians, doctors, and information online that can help us heal our challenges, be healthier. We can also connect with a therapist and people that can help us online, in a distance way, with our challenges, our difficulties. If you're having trouble with marriage, if you're having troubles with drug addiction, if you're having difficulties studying, online, it really bridges the gap of distance and opens opportunities around the world. And also opens the opportunity for us to connect with people that are offering a service or are in need of our service. So there are a number of ways that we connect and interconnect for treatment, to help each other, or to provide services or goods throughout the internet. And the third way that the internet has changed our mode of life, how we live, is the connection with people. So the internet helps us to connect with one another, to be more interconnected. That I am here thousands of miles away from home and I can yet talk with my family almost every single day. That I am on the road almost all day or away from my wife, but at any moment in time I can just text her a message, know where she is, know what she's doing. I can check the information on the classroom for my kids and I can see pictures of what they are doing that day on the classroom. I can be connected with my co-workers. I can be connected with our church members online, or when we have to go into lock in and we are in quarantine or something like that, we can even worship online together, and we are here together. You are in your homes or in your cars or traveling from home or in wherever you are, and we are connecting through this device, through the internet, and here we can open the conversation and share. So it is something really remarkable what the internet have done. But with these great advantages, they also come a number of challenges, a number of things that we need to guard against. It has brought to many people the problem of self-awareness. And what I will say is on these three areas of information, on help and treatment, as well as in connection with people, I will say that on those three areas, we divide into three areas of danger or three areas of difficulty. One will be who or what is that we are accessing online. So on the information, we can say who is the person that is providing that information for you and for me online. Oftentimes, we can go to a website and say, okay, look, here, this website says this is the information available, and that is what I believe. And we don't realize who might be the person behind that website. Who is the individual on the other side of that information, of that social media, of that forward that you received online? Who is the person or who is the reliable source of information online? And that is a big challenge as we move forward in this connected life, that can have a problem in how we assess our security and our safety, because we are getting information from people that are not necessarily trustworthy. And that was a big area of debate in the US for these elections, for example. How do we trust the fake news? Who are the people that are writing those articles online? Where the information is coming from? Is that trustworthy? Then I ask online, for example, about vaccinations. Is vaccination safe? Is it okay to do it? And I trust the people online to come and to help me figure out what is right, what is happening, and what is the right information online. So that is a challenge that we present. How do we disseminate, or how do we acknowledge, understand who is giving that information? Even when we chat online, I connect on different platforms, chatting with people and posting and seeing posts from different people. But in reality, many times, I don't know who is the person on the other side of the connection. Is that person trustworthy? Is that person really who they say there is? There have been a number of cases when you have children thinking that they are talking or playing with other children online when they are really adults. There have been cases of gentlemen chatting, thinking that on the other side of the line there's a woman, and all of a sudden they realize that on the other side of the line it is a man. How do, in this internet connected world, how do we know who is on the other side of the line? What information is reliable and what is good for us? Sometimes we trust and we put so much of our value of what we do online based on what we see on that screen, on what is being shared. And we don't see how that can impact us. This week there was an image shared on social media about a photo shoot on a glamorous magazine. All these actresses went and they took a photo shoot picture and they were featured in the cover of this magazine. And later during the week, they came out on social media complaining that the pictures of the people that were on that photograph, that was not them. Their bodies, their image had been heavily modified, had been photoshopped. Their bodies had been tampered with, and the image that they were portraying on the magazine was not the real body. That was not really who they were. And there were a number of comments asking, how do we distinguish the reality from the fake? How do we know that we are not living a life on the standard of the online information when we don't know if that is correct or that is true? Many times we as adults, we can disseminate and we can ascertain, well, this information might be true or looks to be suspicious. Let me find out more about this. Or this picture, something strange with it. Let me find out more about it. But what about children? What about a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old that sees these pictures online and they say, and they put and base their value based on what they see online, on how they can see themselves mirrored in those images, and they portray their self-worth based on how different they look from what is accepted or what is normal on their internet. Or when people go online on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and they see all their friends having these great vacations, and they went and they traveled here, they traveled there, they went and they had this adventure, that adventure, they went to a wonderful place together. And they say, oh, see, my life is not good. I base my value, my happiness, my standard of living based on the information I get online, not knowing what is the reality. You even see me through this camera, and although the video is not the perfect quality and the lighting and the audio is not perfect, I'm sure that you might be tempted to see me in a different way than I truly are, because the camera is pointing at me in a certain angle that makes me look better. The lights are put in a place that makes me look a little bit lighter in color scheme. The voice is being modulated through the different filters, so my voice might sound a little bit better online. So is this who I truly am? Can you trust that it is? And then when you have your own Zoom call, or when you have your own interactions, and you say, well, maybe I don't look as good as somebody else, or maybe I can look as better than this. And we start to mistrust ourselves of who we are, or mistrust our reality based on what we see online. think that that's the first part of the challenges of our safety online. Who and what are we following online? How are we basing our reality on those informations? And that is even also true with our communication with people. Because when I chat with somebody, it's easy for me to say, well, this is my reality, and share with you on a text message what I believe my reality to be. When in real life, things might be different. So it's easier to communicate online, on social media, on the chat, and not address the issues that we are currently living. It's easier for me to point the camera and this specific angle, so you see a white, clean background, but not turn the camera around where you will see maybe the mess that I have on my bedroom, or maybe the things that I haven't washed, or maybe the food that I haven't collected. So you don't see the mess that's going on behind the cameras. I'm not saying that there is any mess. There is some, but you will not see it. Now, the important thing is that through the lens of the internet, of our connected lives, who are we allowing to come into our lives and to our understanding and interact with us and influence how we feel, influence how we relate to each other? So that is the first part. Who we are allowing to influence us, what is we allowing to influence us, and how is this influencing us online? That's the first part of our online connection, and that's something that we need to not only learn from ourselves, but as a parent, I find very important for us to also share with our kids, that they will start to learn what the internet is and the safety that they need to see what is real and what is not, how they base their life on reality. Now, the second step, the second part of this safety online will be about how it impacts us, how we allow the things on the internet to impact our lives. And this is a very delicate topic, because as any other addiction, the internet can be something that we say, I don't have a problem with it. And I have learned from my own experience, when one person, or when we say, I don't have a problem with that, that's not my weakness, I'm okay with it, then that's when we are at a greater risk. I read a study a few months ago, and it says that 50% everybody is 50% inclined to have some kind of dependency or addiction. So that all of us are 50% inclined to have an addiction or a dependency problem. So in some way or another, we all have battled with addiction, with some form of addiction. And on the internet, before, I remember a few years ago, we'll say, oh, the internet, the phones are an addiction. But today, we are going a little bit deeper into that, because the internet has not only become an addiction, but it has magnified many other addictions, especially with the area of information, of connection. And that can be towards checking the news, for example. We allow the news to come into our lives every single morning, or every hour, or every half an hour, and impact how we feel, how we react. I know, I have been there. I have all these notifications on my phone for when I get news from the BBC, from CNN, from Fox News, and every 15 minutes or every so often, I will receive a notification of a breaking news. And how we allow those notifications to change our perspective, to guide us through our day. And sometimes how we are expecting or waiting for the phone to make a little maybe vibration or maybe sound that we can open up and see what notification it is. Or maybe who is talking to us. And we have that addiction. It's not addiction to the phone, it's addiction to a specific area now that we are trying to control on the phone, that's bringing that dopamine or that feeling to us. Maybe it is the like button. being liked on the different social medias, or being followed, or being subscribed to. That feeling, it can become an addiction. And whenever we say, I don't have a problem with it, my friend, you might have a problem with that. Because if we, all of us, are 50% inclined to have an addiction, then when we say we don't have a problem with that, it becomes 75% likely that we will have an addiction, because we are not guarding ourselves against those things. We're only strong against the different things when we can protect ourselves against these different things. So that's the news, that's the connection. What about more deeper things that we often not talk about? What about pornography? What about looking at pictures? Now you might say, no, it's not my problem. Well, let's redefine pornography. Let's redefine this concept of what you are looking at. Because I feel that oftentimes society have influenced us to a way that we say, oh, this is okay, and I'll only go this far, and past this point, it is not okay anymore. When in reality, we are putting in our minds information, pictures, ideas that are not necessarily safe for us, or just simply are not glorifying God, or not worthy of our worship to God. And the challenge here, especially with men and pornography, is that we go out on the street and we have billboards, we have ads on our phones, ads on the newspapers, ads on the little flyers that we get on the street. We have people walking around, and we can look at them, and those things become normal. So a little bit more than that, it becomes maybe a little bit normal, and then we become a little bit not so okay, and then you start have a little bit of a area where you say this might be okay, and we start to fill our minds, ideas, with information, with pictures, with images, with videos, with sounds that are not really there for our growth, for our glorification, for the purpose that will keep us closer to God. That digital connection. And sometimes we say, well, that's not only it. It goes sometimes beyond that, when it's our connection with one another that becomes a problem. Because we start to depend on certain connections, on certain friendships online, when we start communicating and having that dopamine level go up when we connect with certain individuals. And we start to have a conversation with them. We start to chat about personal things, about intimate things. We start to talk to them about things that are in my real life that sometimes I don't share with my very close friends, or sometimes I don't share with my family, I don't share with my wife. And we allow these things to become intruders into my own personal life. Our digital lives can be very good too, but it also can come and infiltrate into our personal lives, into our mental health. Those conversations that we have online, and it's easier to say, well, when we are person to person, we have not only the verbal communication, but we also have the physical communication, the non-verbals that we talk about, and we know how far we can get the conversations. But sometimes online it's harder to delineate those differences. A simple "how are you?" "How are you doing?" "Are you fine?" Little things, little comments can blur that line of that dopamine level that you are getting when you communicate with those individuals. And that is influencing your life. It's influencing how you behave. It's influencing how you relate to God, how you relate to other people, how you relate to your spiritual walk with God. So keeping those areas safe is important for us as online missionaries, especially because maybe you spend more time than the normal individual online, and normally people already spend quite a bit of time online. So we need to guard ourselves about these things. And some tools that we can use is simply on your phone, on Android or on iOS, on whatever mobile you have the option there on the settings to see your usage. So go to your phone and check how much have you used your phone lately. And then if you go into the details, you can actually press the details there and check how much time you have spent on the different apps. What apps have you used? How often you have used them? All that information is there for you to see. And it's there for you to see so you can really engage how you're using it and keep yourself accountable. But more than that, now it becomes on a third problem, on a third level, that is talking about our safety online in relation to those around us, to our loved ones. So even though I am the one connected online with other people or with that information, and I am the one being influenced, my actions online also have a reaction or have an impact on the feelings of those around me. One example that I am very clear with is about the matter of infidelity. And this came to me because infidelity, if we define it as the keeping of secrets, so I am unfaithful to God, I am unfaithful to my wife, I am unfaithful to my children, I am unfaithful to my relationships when I put other things about them that do not belong there. Or more clearly, if we might say it in a few words, infidelity or unfaithfulness is the keeping of secrets. When we keep secrets, that's when we start to break apart from our friends, from my God, from my wife, from my husband, from my children. When we start to have that separation of I am keeping a secret, I am hiding something. And that is something that we need to be very careful with. And the thing is that with the internet, with our use online as online digital missionaries, we have a lot of access to information. And how much of our actions online are being kept private or secret from other people? And why are they being kept secret? Now, it's not to say that there should not be any privacy. Privacy is number one and importance. It's not that they can have and just know everything about you. The important thing is that you are willing to share those things with the people that you choose to share with, that you choose to be safe with. And that is how the internet can come and crawl into our lives, for us to keep secrets, to allow us to keep relationships, friendships online that can, as a secret, can take us apart from real friendships, real individuals, real communication that we can have. That those information that we're having online, that I'm reading about these different beliefs or about these different things for research purposes, and that secret I'm keeping from my pastor, or that secret I'm keeping from my elders, that secret I'm keeping from my friends, it's really driving me away from them. Imagine if you keep those secrets with people that you see all the time. If you can keep a secret with your wife and you sleep with her, well, I hope you do. But if you keep a secret with your wife, with your mate, with your pastor that you see every week, with your children, with your friends that you see very often, how more so are you keeping a secret from God? Or you're trying to keep a secret from God? And how this secret can be separating us from God. Of course, there are software that can help us to stay accountable. And if we have problems with some specific types of communication or some kind of information or types of relations online, that's the three areas we talked about: information, the connections that we have, where we get information from, and the social connectivity that we have online. If we have problems with any of those areas, there's things that can help us. Short of leaving the internet altogether, we can have software that keep us accountable online. Just go on Google and search accountability software for my computer, accountability software for my phone. You can keep tabs on your children or to see what websites they're visiting. what kind of social media who they are talking to. The same thing you can do for yourself. You can install a software on your phone or your computer that will keep track of your actions. And maybe you will choose to share that information with your mate, with your spouse. Maybe you choose to get that information for yourself to help you to make better decisions of how you spend your time online or what you are doing online. What might be an area where you are struggling with. Because how we spend our time online is very important. So again, to recap some information that I have shared with you today. First is that we don't know who we are talking to. Be careful our sources. Be careful who our sources are online, and who and what and how we are allowing these things to influence our lives. And first, with information. Where we getting the information from? Are these credible sources? If we are searching about the cure for the coronavirus, is it people that are talking about drinking alcohol or drinking soap are reliable for me to listen to them? Sometimes it's common sense. Other times you have to dig a little bit deeper of who is the one sharing that information. That's one of the reasons why I ask my family, please do not send me, or don't try not to send any forwards. I take any forwards with a grain of salt because they have no source. Don't tell me who the original author was, where it come from that information, who is the authority behind that information. And even less, give me some details about the science behind it or the statistical analysis behind it. Because I can manipulate any survey to say what I really want. It depends how I word it and how the analysis is done. I cannot run a test with 5 people and tell you my test results are that vaccines do not work. And I have only shared information with 3 people. And the way that I tested them is by just seeing if they have fever or not. That is not a good way of taking that information. It is not a good research method. It's not a good research project, or how it was constructed. This research design is the word I'm looking for. So that is the area that we have to be careful with. Who, what, and how we're allowing things on the internet to influence us. With the connections that we get online, the professionals that we have online, when we get, for example, professionals to give us counseling, when we have professionals to give us advice, to give us coaching. I am one of the areas that I'm working with right now is with different business owners to do coaching online, and I also work with social media influencers to coach them online, to help them to see what they need to do to continue growing. And an important part of becoming a trustworthy coach is they know your credentials, they know where you have been, what you have done, and they can trust you. So how much you can trust people online when you go and you ask Google, what medicine should I take for a cough? When the answer comes back, who is the one giving that medicine? Who is saying that that medicine should be taken in that specific way, or the dosage that should be taken? We have to be careful about that information, as well as how we connect with people, what kind of conversations we have, or how we communicate with people. Make sure that the people on the other side of the communication stream are really who they are. The other area that we discussed tonight was about how this impacts us, how we allow this information or these things that we share online to impact my mental health, my connection with God, my connection with others. Are we allowing the information on the social media, on news, for example, to keep me on the edge and fearful of what's happening? Are we allowing the details that are coming out on social media about the mark of the beast, about the Sunday law, or about evangelism to keep me on the edge and affect me in a negative way for how I relate to God or relate to other people? How does the internet affect me? How much time I'm using on it? What kind of software I'm using to connect with people? What kind of programs I'm using? How much time I'm consuming in the different areas? And the third area that we discussed very briefly is about how my actions online affect others. And here's where we need to really check ourselves. Check ourselves if we're keeping any secrets from those people that we love. Are we keeping any secrets from God? Is there a communication? Is there information Are there some materials or services that are on your phone or on your computer that you want to keep secrets from God? How those secrets can affect our relationships? Because when we keep secrets, we create a distance between us, between individuals, and we try to be transparent. We try to be transparent mostly with God, with those that care. So it's important for us to take good look at our internet usage, what we're consuming online, what we are using online. As online missionaries, you will get across a lot of information. And the truth is that the wrong information, the wrong images, the wrong video, the wrong details, the wrong contact is just a click away on the internet. So we need to keep ourselves accountable and be careful what we do, how much time we spend there, how we are allowing these relationships to come and affect us and affect our lives. But I want to hear from you. Do you have any questions? Do you have any experiences you'd like to share? Maybe your experience can help us, can help the rest of those listening or those here on Zoom or on other platforms. Have you had any experience with safety online, with the things that you will watch, or somebody that you know maybe have been influenced by online media or connections there in a way that is negative to you? Please, if you are here with us on live, you can just type on the chat, or you can just unmute your microphone. If you are on Zoom, or if you are watching this video recorded, you can type on the comments and we'll get back to you. One important question that I get asked quite a bit is, how do I know when too much is too much, how far I have gone, if I am addicted to that specific area? One of the areas in my personal experience is how hard it is to stop it, how hard it is for me to say, wait a minute. Yes. Okay. Let me see. I hear. Okay, I hope you can hear me. Yes, testing here. Okay. So that's one of the areas how I try to gauge how if I am in an area of difficulties or challenge online, how difficult it is for me to stay away from that. How do I feel when I do not talk to a specific person online? Am I craving that connection? Yes. I am craving a specific connection, or am I craving specific kind of pictures, images, or apps that I'm looking at? Is it difficult for me to stay away from my phone too long? What kind of apps are the ones that I normally open on the phone, and what happens if I uninstall those apps on my phone? How do I feel about it? That's one of the ways that I have been able to try to gauge how healthy is my online use, or my connections online, or the information that I'm getting online. Anybody else have another question or want to add more here, how you have found yourself to try to keep yourself safe and sane online? I have a message here on Facebook. Let me check our Facebook comments here. Okay. Okay, so there's something. Okay, good. I'm checking to see what's the problem here. Okay. Okay, well, perfect. Yeah, so thank you so much for, I have some comments here. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, good. I just had a question about the quality of the audio on Zoom. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, staff, for the comments there. I didn't notice they had a problem there with the audio. I think we have fixed it. Okay, great. For you guys, anybody else? Any other question, any comments? Have you had a difficulty with this area? it's important to try to share and be able to talk about these things. I feel that especially the area of online pornography for male and females are sometimes a taboo to talk about, and the reality is that that I find two specific problems in our days with that area. One is what is our idea of pornography, what is our how we define pornography, and the second is that sometimes we don't realize it, or sometimes we don't see how wrong it is, or how it influences us in more than one way. So those areas are very important for us to check ourselves and make sure that we understand what it is, because oftentimes I have heard from a number of young people say, oh no, but I don't look at pornography. The farthest I go is to look on TikTok, those girls dancing with bikinis. Yes, how you define that attraction that you have, or that dosage of dopamine that you get when you watch or you see something, or where your thoughts go when you see specific areas and specific things. So we have to be careful with those things and understand and analyze ourselves, be true to ourselves, really where we're getting that little fix, or that little dopamine level that can trigger us onto that area of dependency, or even going into being addicted to a specific area, specific type of content or connection. Okay, I don't see any more comments here on our Facebook chat, or on our Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. There are no questions here, no comments. Today we don't have our regular panelists on Zoom. They're on a different meeting. But if you have any additional comments, please feel free to share with us online on the comments below, or you can also contact me in the different social media accounts. You can follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, or on TikTok. And you can connect with me in any of those platforms. Just follow riospablo.co, and we'll be in contact there. I'd love to hear your comments, your thoughts about this area. Next week, I believe that we're going to talk about Zoom. I'm going to have a little workshop, a short workshop about Zoom and security on Zoom as well. I just want to confirm Taf is here with us on Zoom. I just want to confirm if he will be our facilitator next week. I just wanted to confirm with him if he will be available next Tuesday. Taf, are you here with us? Will you be available? Yes, okay, perfect. So I get a yes from him on Zoom. Great. Okay, so next week we're going to be talking about Zoom. So I invite you to please join us next week at 7:30 p.m. Bangkok time, and be with us here on Facebook, on YouTube, or Instagram. And if you can, join us on Zoom as well, so you can be part of the conversation, so you can share your stories, and you can share your comments and your questions with us, and be part of this conversation about digital ministry and how we can continue to preach the gospel and stay safe online as we move forward. With that, I want to thank everybody for being here with us. I invite you to join me on different social media accounts, and also to check our sponsor, community7.org. We are doing some great work on the area of finance, financial information, as well as online ministry. So check them out at community7.org, and you can learn more about what we are doing on that regard. With that, I thank you all for joining us here. Be safe, and from my heart to yours, have a good and great week. God bless you, and see you next week at 7:30 p.m. Bangkok time. God bless you all, and have a wonderful, wonderful week.